Welcome back to UNX Fast Forward, your daily dose for everything ninja. I'm Ethan Swanson.
And I'm Chris Ganji, and we have our third UNX Open Qualifier in the books from alternate routes. We have 3 more men, 3 more women going to our major on November 2nd.
That means 3 out of the 4 qualifiers that athletes have to get to the major are decided. There's only 1 more left. And so, just as a reminder, out of those, we're going to have 3 majors the entire season. Top 8 men, top 8 women from the season move on to the UNX Championship in February.
Yeah, and so in alternate routes, again, 2 weeks in a row, we only had 1 finisher. Joe Meisner, the only person to break through, finished the course, and he did it with only 5 seconds left. Incredible run.
Yeah, I mean, we've been crushing souls out there the last couple of weeks. Only 2 finishers over 2 weeks. But no, super balanced course by Tony Torres. He's a madman. He created some very unique obstacles just for this competition. And, let's take a look at the men who took those qualifying spots, going to be moving on to the first major. And first up, taking the 3rd qualifying spot, Najee Richardson.
Yeah, got to talk about Naj. I mean, such a consistent competitor in that top 3. He's going to be at the major, and I thought he had a great run. I would have liked to see him finish that Salmon River, but I just don't think he got the bar right on the drop down.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a surprise that he's top 3. You think Naj, and okay, I'm expecting this guy to do big things. I'm expecting him to be one of the top athletes. But yeah, I thought he was going to be able to finish the course. But then looking at our second spot, a little bit more of a surprise, Josiah Pitbull. But I don't think it's going to be a surprise when he continues to crush throughout the rest of the season. I mean, he's shown that he is a monster.
Yeah, he had an incredible run. I mean, he had a faster pace than Naj. He got that 2nd place spot. And, those guys train together, him and our 1st place finisher, who we'll talk about in a second, all these guys train together. And so this whole crew is going to be coming out to the major, which is exciting.
Yeah, and Josiah, I just want to say it, when he fell on the dismount of the last obstacle, 40 seconds left on the clock. That's so much time.
So fast.
Yeah. And then our first qualifier, 1st place, only finisher, Joe Meisner.
Joe Meisner, and I said it during the qualifier episode, but this is a kid to watch out for going forward. He's been training for so long. He does things at Movement Lab that push Chris Wilczewski and Najee Richardson to their limits. This kid is so strong.
That's crazy to think about, pushing those 2 guys to their limits. And it's a young kid, an up-and-comer that just took 1st place, the only finisher.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this kid. I think he's going to do very well going forward. Somebody to watch out for. But then looking over at the women's side of things, looking at our qualifiers, taking that 3rd place qualifying spot, Mary Leighton.
Yep, and she took 4th place overall. One of our other competitors is a guaranteed athlete, but, she took that 3rd qualifying spot. She's going to the major event, and she was one of the athletes that made it past the log dash, which was the separator for the women.
Yeah, that log dash obstacle was very hard, but then getting through the log dash in our 3rd place spot, Jessie Graff.
Yep, once again, one of our guaranteed athletes. She's going to the major anyway, so she doesn't take a spot away from another woman athlete. But, I mean, she proved why she's one of the guaranteed athletes. She broke through the log dash, and she made it through the slide cliff. And then, unfortunately, she just missed her hands, had a little bit small swing, and needed a bigger swing on the wing nuts, but, took 3rd place overall.
Yeah, then in 2nd place, Alessandra, who was our first competitor on the women's side to get through the wing nuts, extremely impressive run, and she got through with 0.3 seconds left.
0.3 seconds. It was so close that we had to go back afterwards, do video review, and made sure she made the dismount because we couldn't tell. She looked at us like, hey, thumbs up down. We're like, we got to look.
Yeah, but then going on to our 1st place qualifying spot, Kacy Rothschild, an extremely impressive run. We've seen her perform so well in American Ninja Warrior, and then coming into here, alternate routes, taking the 1st place spot, only woman to get to the inchworm.
Yeah.
Incredible run.
I mean, there was such a separation between Kacy and the rest of the women's field. It's almost unbelievable. To get that much further than anybody else in that division, very impressive. I'm really excited to see her at the major. I mean, she's so incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very well-deserved qualifying spot here. Kacy trained so hard. But yeah, I'm excited to see what she brings.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at some of the athletes that just missed the cut. And first, I want to talk about Megan Johnson, a very impressive athlete, but, was our first women's runner, and that's really difficult to be the first to go. And she got taken out by the log dash. We saw just kind of misplaced her foot, overstepped, and that was it.
Yeah, it's so hard to be the first woman competitor to go. You don't really get to see a lot of other people kind of go before you. But yeah, I mean, she was in our predictions to be one of our top 3.
Yep.
I may not know on your side, but I've seen her do a lot of good upper body things, but just couldn't quite figure out the log dash, misplaced her foot. But I expect to see her come back, and I think she'll do well in the future.
Yeah, I agree. But then we got to talk about the men's side, just missing out Connor Galvin. And he was in 3rd place almost until the end and got knocked out by Josiah, crushing it. And but that's it. He pushes him to 4th place, and he's not in a qualifying spot anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Josiah moved so fast and just missed the dismount on the Salmon River. Connor did have a good pace. I mean, he moved pretty well, but the pace that Josiah moved at was just unbelievable.
Unmatched. He moves so much faster. But Connor, caught the second half of the Salmon River and then just missed a side going up. And I think he had more left in the tank.
Yeah, I definitely think Connor I don't think it was a pump issue on his end. I think it was more of just a technical issue. Didn't quite get the bar in the right spot. But yeah, I mean, I expect to see Connor come back at some point.
Right, another athlete on the men's side, Eli Chevalier, gotta talk about it, is he was burning out, didn't have a lot of time left, made this crazy move to get himself into 5th place. I just wish he would have had more time to rest before that obstacle, because I think he could have cleared.
Yeah, I mean, he did take a lot of time before he started that Salmon River, and it was just, you could see the time was burning down. And, we're over here, we're freaking out like, come on, go. But, yeah, he made that huge move to the 2nd Salmon River, which I loved, but just couldn't hold on to the bar. But even if he did, I don't think he had the time to finish.
Right. And so not only just those athletes that just barely missed the cut, we had some pretty big shocking falls. First of which you have to talk about, unfortunately, Joe Moravsky not really getting to that podium, and he's an athlete where if he's competing, you're expecting him, he's going to podium, if not take 1st place.
Yeah, Joe Moravsky, a tough fall to watch there. He was coming down the track. You could see the bar just got crooked, couldn't save it, and just slipped right out. Yeah,
and he was on a pretty good pace. He really didn't look that tired either. I think he had more than enough physically to beat the course. And I talked to him right afterwards, did an interview with him, and he wasn't even out of breath. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm ready. He's like, man, like, you're not out of breath. That's a killer of a course,
Yeah, and I think we've all seen Joe compete so many times, and I think, it did not look like he was pumped. It looked like he had the strength to finish. It just came down to the bar not being straight.
Yep, and another one of the athletes, shocking fall, Kyle Schultz. And, he's such a great rock climber. And the spot he went out on, the inchworm, is something you'd expect he would kind of waltz through,
Yeah, I really expected Kyle to get through the inchworm. He has such good climbing strength. And I think what it came down to is his feet weren't quite set before he tried to make the next move with his hand. And you could see everything just kind of popped off.
Yep, and on the women's side, Nikki Parrilla, already one of our qualified athletes from Ninja Quest. And, so she doesn't have to worry about qualifying for the major. But honestly, we both expected that she would have an easier time because, hey, no pressure, the nerves are gone. But, just got taken out by the log dash like so many other competitors.
Yeah, I expected her to get kind of far into this course, no pressure, getting some more experience for the major. So that was definitely a little bit shocking to see her go down on the log dash.
And a last big shocker, Judas. You got to talk about him. He's so entertaining. I mean, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, Judas just made his way up the inchworm. He went to reach out for the deadly descent and knocked the skull hold down the track. And at that point, it's so hard to save. And so you could see him trying to swing for it. He's hitting the back on the inchworm. And he just couldn't get the momentum he needed to get there.
And at the same time, though, if anybody's going to be able to make that move, I would think Judas would be the one to get it. So it was kind of like we're watching, oh no, but it's like, well, it's Judas, so he might still have it.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Unfortunately, just didn't play that way for him, and he didn't make the top 3, not qualified for the majors.
Yeah, definitely a hard run there for Judas, especially. I thought he had the strength to get through, and I thought he would have done well in the Salmon River, but didn't quite get it.
Yep. And so tomorrow, actually, on UNX Fast Forward, we're going to go through the Ninja Killers, some stats about the course, go through some big-time moments, and a lot more.
Yeah, all right, guys. So make sure you guys check us out tomorrow, and we'll see you then. I'm Christy Ganji.
I'm Ethan Swanson. See you guys next time on UNX Fast Forward.